I'm here with the skipper of the big boat racing team, Ludde Ingvall, and we're just going to talk about the entry which has just been submitted for the America's Cup.
That's right. We've been looking at the America's Cup and how it's developed for a while, and we have decided that Australia should be part of it. So we are submitting a notice of entry, so we get a spot in the queue, so to speak, and then we're going to work over the next 3 or 4 months to see what kind of interest we have throughout Australia from the various potential interest groups of creating a proper America's Cup challenge.
And so what will be the process between now and the time that we enter?
Well, we're running the YuuZoo big boat racing team with the purposes of it being a pilot program to give us a platform to communicate and to coach our young team into the various parts that are required: shore management, sailing, boat management, maintenance, and so forth. The process from a business point of view will be a process of evaluation of the offer from the present holder, Larry Ellison, and the Oracle team. We will then, of course, have a process of due diligence to see that everything stacks up. We would from there create a America's Cup challenge plan and strategy, and when we're ready in March or so, we would present this to the various stakeholders to see if there is interest for us to go ahead.
Okay, and now talking about the new format America's Cup, there are a lot of changes. Let's go through the new boat, the new race format, the world tour, and so on.
What is very exciting about the new America's Cup is that we're now looking at a boat that is beyond doubt the Formula One of sailing. Sailing has always had a problem in that there's been many different events that people are considered to be the hot ticket in town. But the new America's Cup format, and particularly the new America's Cup Yacht, the AC-72, is a catamaran that's going to be capable of speeds of 3 times the wind speed. That means there's no doubt these are the really cool boats to sail. And the format is going from being purely an America's Cup sail every 3rd or 4th year, a series of events. So it'll be an AC World Cup 2011, AC World Cup 2012, even an AC World Cup 2013 leading up to an America's Cup match. So we're now looking at a continuum. We're not building a boat just for one event every 4 years. We're building a boat and sailing and racing as a team in a continuous series of events. Now these various World Cup events offer then an opportunity of the whole roadshow, the Formula One circus, to go to various cities. And of course we believe it's very important that one of those will be Australia.
So the racing will actually, the format is very different because we're going to be talking about short, sharp races close to shore in natural amphitheatres where spectators can really get behind the racing and come and look and be a part of it.
That's right, and that's why it's really good for the YuuZoo big boat racing team to act as this platform and to be part of the Rolex Sydney Hobart race. The Rolex Sydney Hobart race, of course, is one of the biggest sporting events in the world from a point of view of audience, and that's thanks to a beautiful harbour like Sydney where hundreds of thousands of people can actually watch the whole start of the race unfold. And I guess it's become a national thing. So with America's Cup, the way it's going to work now, we can create the same, and it could be anywhere in Australia, or as they're planning for the finale, most likely to be in San Francisco Bay. And that allows a particularly exciting audience participation.
Yeah. So it puts the cities that are hosting it on the same level as cities like San Francisco as the jewels of the world, the beautiful locations.
Now the key there really is that it becomes a travelling roadshow, and the only way that we can create the kind of an international support for it is by allowing this event to go from city to city, and that's what this format allows.
Talking about the different format, we're going to be looking at a lot more emphasis on reflexes, on speed, on strength, so it's really an opportunity for young sailors to shine.
Well, I don't think anybody knows who are going to be the winners of the next America's Cup. I mean, the winner today, of course, is an Australian called Jimmy Spittle representing the Oracle team for America. But what we will see is these boats are so athletic that the crew are going to be young and very super fit and extremely talented. The reflexes, as you say, will be more important than a lot of other things. We're looking at boats that are just extremely physical to sail. So it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch, but it also defines the sport in a totally new way than previously. So Australia, in my opinion, is one of probably 4 countries in the world that can actually participate and win. And the reason is that we have the largest talent pool that I've ever seen anywhere in the world. The problem we have at the moment is that all these youngsters that have the talent around Australia who are being coached through the Olympic process, Yachting Australia does a great job bringing forward the talent, but their big dream is, of course, in the end to go and do something really big. And if America's Cup is the hot ticket, if it's a Formula One, the pinnacle of the sport, well, and we're not there, the problem, of course, is going to be that all the young talent that we find and nurture, all they want to be thinking about is leaving the country and sell for somebody else. So we've got to stop the rot, we've got to stop the brain drain and the talent drain. We've got to keep them here and give them a fair go at representing their country. And that's a process that I think we need to put in place. Just as you would in rugby. I mean, the Wallabies and the Socceroos are those who play in those national teams are there for the sake of the talent. And they've been found and they've been coached and they've been given the opportunity to represent the nation.
You mentioned rugby, and there's a similarity between the rugby league setup and the new America's Cup setup, basically with all the teams having a stake in the event.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, I'm no expert on the structure of National Rugby League, but the bottom line is that the America's Cup, the way it's being structured, the America's Cup Management Company, which is now headed by Ian Murray and a group of really very talented people with a lot of experience, they will be operating collectively for all the participants. So they will do all the media contracts and so forth, and then the income of that company will be shared. So there will be income to the teams by participating, and that is for the first time. That structure is the first time that I can see there is a possibility of commercial viability of an America's Cup team. I don't think that the America's Cup teams, besides perhaps Team New Zealand, have been able to survive purely on sponsorship and their own commercial viability. So that is also a very, very big change, and a big reason why Australia should look at it. We can have a people's team and a people's boat. We can have a national team, and it doesn't have to rely on a single person's, single billionaire's funds. It can be really a commercial, be of commercial relevance. And I think it would be a huge way of supporting and marketing Australia, supporting the boat building industry in Australia by allowing Australia to participate in technological advance that's going to happen through this, and also allowing Australia to use this platform to market itself. We need to market Australia for tourism and for a lot of different things, and one thing would be to be part of it and show up in all the main events around the world. The second part will be to bring this main event into Australia.
Yeah. So we're showcasing Australia from a tourism point of view, but also as far as the industry is concerned, we really are at a watershed. If we get on board and start leading from the technological point of view, there's a whole series of advantages there. But if we're not part of it, then we literally miss the boat.
I mean, as an economist and from an economic point of view, we are definitely in a very difficult situation for the manufacturing industry of Australia. We are seeing boat building companies closing down, all due to the Australian dollar and the weakness of the global economy. But the sad part of that is that if we lose all this talent in the boat building industry in Australia over the next 5 to 10 years, it's never going to recover. And so we will not be able to compete in mass manufacturing that is moving to China and Korea and so forth. We will only be able to compete because we're better at doing more complex things. And at the moment, Australia is one of the best countries to produce and manufacture complex boat structures. And we really need to be part of this also for that reason. We need to be part so that the Australian boat building industry gets a footing and an involvement in those kind of development. We have to participate in it, and we have to be there and be innovative and allow that information flow to go back into both our yachtsmen as well as to the industry.
Yeah. So the final message is we've secured a spot for Australia to make sure that we're part of it, and the process now is to get everyone behind it and present a united front and do something which is going to be great for the country and for the industry.
Yeah, in short, I mean, we are now by submitting this notice and paying the fee, we are now in the queue. We're one of the key participants at this stage, and that gives us a platform which we can use to develop this final plan and to sell it or to discuss it with all the stakeholders. And the YuuZoo Big Bird Racing Team will act as the active platform for the yachtsmen and women to keep on working in this field and learning more about boats and maintenance and service and logistics and so forth.